Well, going into Colorado State week, got another tough task ahead of us. Going on the road, been at home for 3 weeks when you include the bye week in the last 2 games. So, got some energy, got another W under our belt, which is a good thing. So you have some momentum going into the game, and we're excited about the challenge.
With the passing game, I don't know if it's quite as good as it was last year. They still have a Sharp Higgins there, and Nick Stevens having a good season. Just what is it about them that makes them so effective?
Well, he's a good passer. He does a good job. The biggest thing is they've had a lot of turnovers, and you saw last game they only threw the ball 15 times. They really, scaled back what they did in the passing game. And you listen to Coach Bobo's, comments after the game, and he felt like he's identifying who his team is a little bit more, and he's being a little more conservative the way he's running the football. So we fully expect them to do that same type of thing, to come out and try to run the football and establish that. And we need to take that away and force them to throw the ball. They've had quite a few turnovers, so that's something we've been good at creating, and we need to continue to do that.
Defending Rashard Higgins, have you seen other teams play zone or double team them?
There's been a variety of different things. Again, I think one of the things that they've tried to do is they've tried to create ways to get him the ball. They haven't gotten him the ball as much as they had the previous years. So we don't want it to happen on Saturday.
For both players, just some general thoughts on preparing for Colorado State, what you've seen and what you expect.
I think it's going to be a fun game. We're going on the road, like Coach Sanchez said, for the first time in a while. So it's going to be it's a good opportunity for us to get a big road win and get us some more momentum going into the end of the season.
Yeah, just like my teammates said, first away game in a while, which will be fun. The weather hopefully is going to be really fun for us to play in. I can't wait for that personally, and it's just another team to go against, and we got to watch film and prepare for these guys like we do every week, and I can't wait to get in that stadium.
Kyle, you guys have got 2 games in a row without a sack. Is it just a matter of the line just getting used to playing with each other and getting better?
We've just been working on things a lot in the last couple weeks to make sure during a lot of the pass protection stuff, we're having a lot of better communication between the guys. Obviously, some guys are moving in and out and things like that. It's just, as the season goes on, things are just getting better, and we're working together really well in our communications.
You really haven't had a lot of injuries up front. Tony, how important is that for that development?
It's huge to have that continuity. Obviously, any injury is tough. As thin as we are, so it's been good. We've kept our guys on the field, and sometimes that's as much luck as anything else. We do a good job of prepping our kids and keeping them healthy. But at the end of the day, those things can happen at any time. So knock on wood, we're healthy right now. We need to stay that way.
Will you talk more about the weather, how it compares to the other teams that you faced on the road?
Yeah, Colorado State, you never know. It could be a really cold night. The good thing is the good Lord helped us out today because we had a nice cold morning practice. The wind was blowing about 20 miles an hour, and it was pretty darn chilly out there this morning. So it was good. It was probably similar to what it could be out there. So we're expecting anywhere from 50 to 30 degrees. But at the end of the day, I think sometimes I've always kind of minimized those things. If you're tough, you're tough. If you're not, you're not. And then if you're not tough, you don't win. So we got to be tough. We got to go out there and prepare for any situation. Our staff will do a great job of making sure we got our cold weather gear, and then just got to go get first downs and touchdowns.
Tony, is the meeting of 2 first-year head coaches. Just what kind of lessons have you learned this first season?
I'm going to be honest with you. The biggest thing is just it's about consistency in your preparation, consistency in your messaging. So I'll be honest with you, when I look back at the end of the year, though, I'm sure there'll be things that I've learned and such, but really, I think you can ask these guys, our approach has been the same since day one. I knew what our plan was. I'm very confident in what we're going to do here and in the plan we were putting in place, and we've competed week in and week out, and I think progressively you've seen us get better and better. We've done the things that we said we were going to do before the season started, which was, control the clock, win time of possession, create turnovers. That's how we had to win games, and that's what we've done. And we've been in almost every game in the fourth quarter, so we're getting better. But again, I guess the thing I've learned is that when you have an idea and you have a vision and you've got a plan, stick to it. Don't let anybody waver you from it. We talk to our guys all the time. You head down the path and there's all kinds of people pulling at you here and there, trying to get you to veer off. But you know what? If you believe in your path, stay straight on it and keep moving.
A lot of first-time head coaches move from assistant roles, and they say that it's all the non-coaching stuff that they're not quite prepared for. But you ran such a high-profile program at Gorman. Did that help in that regard?
100%. I mean, I can't reiterate it enough. I mean, coming from a school like Bishop Gorman really was so much different. And I think, if I had come from, for example, Cal High, taking the job, I don't know if I'd have been ready. And again, doing weekly radio shows, and when I first sat down with you guys, it wasn't the first time I've talked to you. I mean, I've seen you guys all over the years and done national interviews and coaching national games and flown and done travel plans, and that was big. I got to tell you though, the toughest thing is when you do get pulled in so many directions, from fundraising to media to just creating relationships with people in our community and on campus, and it pulls you out of the film room a little bit, and it pulls you away from some of the X's and O's, and at the end of the day, that's what we love so much about this game. So I find myself a little frustrated at times because I'm not in that room as much with the coaches as I want to be, but right now it's so important that that we're doing everything we can to build this program in a variety of ways, not just on the field but also off the field, in the community, fundraising, things like that. So as the years go on, you'll get back in there a little bit more, and I definitely have very strong inputs, but I trust the guys I'm working with, and that's a huge thing. I mean, the staff that I've surrounded myself with has been a big scaffolding in this whole process.
And that's what I was going to follow up with that. You hired a veteran staff at this level. How much peace of mind does that give you that when you do get pulled away that they're a prospect?
You know what? They're great coaches and they're good men. And the reason I bring up good men is because in this game, trust is such an important thing. I mean, you have to have a clear message, for the players and for the guys that are working for you and working with you, and they have to reiterate that message, 24 hours a day, from our strength staff to our training staff to our coaching staff. So when you are away, that message is still being repeated. It's the same verbiage, it's the same vision, it's the same messaging, along with the X's and O's. And I trust our guys completely. Coach Cotton offensively, all the way down, with our assistants, and Coach Bear, LaRusso special teams, Coach Belton in the strength, room. I mean, we all speak the same language. We all want the same things for this program, this university, and this community, and we're hell-bent on getting it done, and I got full faith in those guys.
UNLV hires a local guy, and you, in a sense, have been there, 6 years or whatever. What advantage is that, do you see?
Well, just knowing Vegas, it's a very different town, and you have to embrace it. And I think, and you've seen it, it's all over. I mean, it's not just football anymore. All the other athletic, entities on campus are all buying into it, and they're all using it in their marketing pitches and the way they're doing things now. And I don't think anybody's done it before, and that was huge. And I think it's because I know Vegas. I know this town, know the way it ticks, I know the energy of it. It's a passionate town, energetic. We're rebels. That's our town. And I think that was a big key for me in doing so. And you know what? My wife and kids didn't have to move, so I didn't have that stress when I went home. It was a good thing.
Let me add, tomorrow's Veterans Day, and you grew up on a base, and that whole military thing's important to you. Can you talk about that a little bit?
Yeah, I mean, I was, you didn't totally grow up. I was born at Travis Air Force Base, but I won't claim that I grew up on it, but I've always had a big affinity for the military, and I've always been a big history guy. And how often do I talk about the military? I mean, it's a daily basis what we do. I tell you what, our men and women that serve, who have served and continue to serve, they're my heroes. I think they're the most important people that walk the earth. I mean, we live in one of the greatest nations in the history of the world, one of the only nations that have ever fought one another for equality. And, we're not perfect, but darn it, we fight to be every single day, and we have that right, and we have those opportunities because of the men and women who put on those uniforms and defend us in foreign lands. I mean, you think about it, there's kids younger than these guys right now in a foxhole somewhere, long ways away from their home, defending us every single day. So God bless them, and we really appreciate all those who have fallen before, all those that have served, and those who continue, and those who will.
You had a brother that is serving or that has served?
Joey, he's in the Army Reserves, and he's done 2 tours, and so we know what it's like for him to be gone for almost 2 years, and be in the Middle East, and it's kind of a nerve-wracking thing. So he's really proud of him. Really proud of him.
Is it different growing up in a military home, do you think, or?
Yeah. Again, my dad was a police officer, so I didn't really grow up in a military home. So my dad met my mom in England, during Vietnam, and that's how, so I've got an English mom and a Puerto Rican dad, so it was good eating. Anyways, so I didn't grow up in a military home, but just having people that are involved there. And now that I've coached for a long time, now we're, God, this is what, 18, 19 years. I've coached so many young men that have served, guys that are Rangers, guys that are SEALs, guys that are just infantrymen doing different things. And I tell you what, I mean, nothing makes you more proud than when you see one of your ex-players and, he's serving his country. And, you got Tillman over there playing for Navy right now, and Tagasi Peko serving on nuclear submarines right now. So, it's neat to touch part of their lives.
What are some of the military values that you preach in the life?
Self-sacrifice, hard work, living a life of service. I think that's something we can all take to heart. Obviously, what they do is a whole different level. But, I think the thing that we preach the most in this program is do it for the guy next to you. Don't do it for yourself. When you're really worried about the people around you and helping them to become better people on a daily basis, and you truly care and love that person, it's only going to propel you. And then those are the things that we talk about every single day here. And that's got to become the culture and the value system here.
For the two players, Tony talked about, what was it, way back in August, that fanatical effort. You feel you guys have kind of bought into all that, why and how? And
I think we have for the most part. Sometimes there are slip-ups, but I think that another thing that Coach Sanchez always talks about is toughness, and that comes from the military or whatever. He wants us all to be tough and never to quit. And I think we have really bought into that. We don't quit. We fight to the end of every game, and that does come with fanatical effort. So, yeah, I really do think we have bought into that.
Yeah, as you can see, compared to last season's game to this season's games, we never quit in any of our games. We're always in them all the way up until the very last snap of the game. And that's really because of what Sanchez has taught us of just fanatical effort and being tough and things like that we go through every single day at practice and how we practice. And I really think the team has bought into that, and that's just it's a great thing for us, and it'll really help us into the future.
what were the other things? It was fanatical effort and two more. What were the other?
Alignment, assignment, technique with fanatical effort. Really, alignment, got to get lined up right. Assignment, knowing what you do when you get lined up. Technique, it's one thing to have great practices, but if you can't translate what you do in your individual into combos in the team, and then practice in the games, forget it. And then fanatical effort on top of it. So, again, it's a simple game. We try to make it more complicated than it really is. Power is power. If you're running it the right way in, middle school football, it's probably not much different than we're teaching it here. Again, it's just getting the right guys in the right position, doing a great job of making sure you guys are eating right and sleeping right and training right, eliminating stresses in their life, so taking care of the academic end, make sure you're doing a good job of teaching the X's and O's over and over and over, and you put all that stuff together, it ends up being a good football team. So, I'm proud of these guys because they fight their tails off and they're getting better and better, and it's fun to keep rolling with them.
Tony, most coaches defer when the coin toss. You always take the ball. What goes to that?
Yeah, it's funny. A long time ago, the whole point of football is what? To get the ball. So if I have an opportunity to get the ball, I'm getting the ball, and I don't care when the hell it is. So if we win the coin toss and the goal is to get the ball, I'm taking the ball. The only time we wouldn't is if weather is a factor. If you have a hellacious wind or you have, a rainy situation where, it's not likely you're going to move down. But, I don't know what the stat is. We've played, 9-10 games yet so far this year? But we've scored 6 of our first possessions. So 6 times we've had the ball first, we've gone down and scored. That's big. It sends a statement to the whole team, and our guys know that we're not going to shy away, and we're not going to wait to see what the other guy does. We're going to just focus on what we're going to do.
Kyle's an offensive lineman, knowing that unless the other team takes the ball like Hawaii did at one time, that you're going to be out there first play. What does that mean to you guys?
I love it when we get to go out there first because, like Sanchez said, it just shows that we're ready to take this ball and just go down there and score a touchdown. It just lets us show that, hey, we're here and we're ready to play.
On paper, you and Colorado State both have the same record in the Mountain West. How evenly matched do you think this is?
I think it's pretty evenly matched. I know they're coming off a 10-win season, and obviously they've been doing some high-level things for a long time. But when I look at it, there's some things I think we have advantages on. I think there's some things that they may have some advantages on. But overall, I think it's a pretty evenly matched game. We're on the road, so it gets us a little advantage of them. But this is a very winnable game. When I look, again, we look back on the games we've played, there's a lot of winnable games out there. I've gotten some, haven't gotten some others. This is another one of those games. So we expect it to be a tight game going into the fourth quarter, and, the team that makes the most plays is going to win. But we have a great opportunity to go win a football game.
What are your advantages and their advantages?
Well, I don't want to totally get into all those things, but I think for us to have an opportunity to win the game, we have to do similar to what we did last week. We have to be able to run the football. I'm not saying we got to run the ball every play, or I'm not putting an limit on it yard-wise, but we have to be able to dictate some of that. But we have to take advantage of some of our explosive players in the passing game. The last couple of weeks, you've seen a lot more explosion in our offense because we've been able to get the ball out there to Chris and Boyd, and Keys has still got some big plays in them, and we need to do more of that. So I think if we continue to do that, we'll be fine. And then defensively, you know what? We've given up more big plays. We've done a pretty good job on defense, but we've given up more big plays the last couple of weeks than we had most of the year. So if we can eliminate that, for example, they had the big long run last weekend and it was a misalignment. I mean, we had a check into the wrong side and, it cost a big play. But if we can eliminate those things and continue to create turnovers, that gives us a great opportunity to win football games. So we're right there.
What's your opinion on what happened in Missouri?
Yeah, that's an interesting situation, It was kind of funny. It was hard to get the full details of exactly what was going on their campus and what they were reacting to. But, I think, it goes back to that whole thing. We live in a great nation, a nation that, that needs to listen. Our young men and women have voices, and we need to be sensitive to that and hear those things out. You would wish that it didn't get to that point. You wish that there was more conversation and more dialogue and discussion going on that campus, so it didn't have to come to a head like that, So, I would just hope that, administrators and students and, faculty and staff would have more of an open dialogue. So when these situations arise on our college campuses and in our communities, that we can have open conversations with them earlier so it doesn't get to a point where it kind of boils to the head of what it did in Missouri.
It seems that issue, people start talking about what's the football team gotten involved.
Yeah, I mean, it's a powerful entity. I mean, it's a big deal, So those guys banded together. Obviously, they had sincere beliefs in what was going on there, and they stuck together. And we all saw the final result. So yeah, it was a pretty powerful message.
Any update on injuries?
Injury-wise, we're doing pretty good. Valoga is day-to-day. So, you saw Jeremiah, he got hurt in the game, but, he's out there, he's walking around. Thule, it looks like we maybe get him back. So he practiced today, so that's good. Bailey Loalangi, he also practiced today. He was out last week, so looks like we may get Bailey back. And it's one of those deals you're kind of trading each week now. I mean, you get towards the end of the year, you got a lot of guys banged up, so you're kind of trading bodies. So, but again, I'm sure we're no different than anybody else.
What are their injuries?
Injuries.
Those guys, what are the three?
Bailey had a knee, and Tule's coming back off a foot injury, and Jeremiah also had a knee. It's a sprain, nothing torn. And Coach Cotton had surgery yesterday, so our OC's coming off an injury.
What kind of surgery?
Yeah, he tore a tendon from his kneecap, so he had surgery last night, and he's in the office right now working.
How do you do that?
I don't know. Walking down the stairs.
Are you stunned how fast the season's gone?
Oh, man. I tell you what, I mean, it
Is it
was...
different for you, for us, it's like it's flown by. Is it different for you? Or?
No, it feels like you just blinked your eyes and all of a sudden we're here towards the end of the year. I mean, and I got to be honest with you, I mean, that's been the craziest thing. I mean, what a whirlwind. I mean, I went from, coaching a high school game to that Sunday going through contract negotiations to doing a press conference on a Wednesday. And once we did, it's like we had one commit, so we had to go recruit a class. And I mean, it was a million miles an hour and, and then hiring a staff and, and bringing the guys in and then getting ready for the first spring ball and getting to know these guys and trying to change. I mean, this has probably been the fastest year of my life by far. But it's been fun. I love it. I wouldn't, what people ask me all the time, well, do you think you made a good decision? Best decision in the history of the world.
In the history of the world?
History of the world. Absolutely.
Anything else?
That's it for me.
Thank you.
Thanks very much.
All right, thanks, guys.